Okay, welcome back. Today we have this ginormous beer. It's not that big, 500 ml. It's called Brakeman. It's a blonde ale, and it's from Midtown Station in the scenic city of Owen Sound, Ontario. Up there a month or so ago, and picked this bad boy up, and we're gonna give it a try. Might need this opener. I've done a lot of beer and jokes. I think this is the first time I actually had to use an opener. First time I recall, anyway. And here we go. Looks blondish. I didn't even mention 5.5%. A little more than average beer for your average bear. Tastes like a blonde. A blonde beer. All right, speaking of blondes, this one fine gentleman happens to be dating 3 women. A brunette, blonde, and a redhead. And he's trying to decide which one he should propose to or, get married to. And he's kind of financially savvy, so he thinks to himself, well, that's probably the best way to go, whichever one can handle the money the best. So he gives each of them $2,000. And individually, of course, and says, go out and do what you will with this money and report back to me in 2 weeks. So the redhead takes the $2,000. She goes out. She spends all the money on herself, gets all new clothes and all fancied up, and she comes back to her boyfriend. And he says, well, how'd you make out? She says, well, I spent the $2,000 on myself to make myself look good for you. He's like, oh, okay, seems appropriate, I guess. And the second one would be the brunette, I suppose, and she goes out and she takes the money and she buys gifts for him, and spends the whole $2,000 on him. So when they meet up and after the 2 weeks is up, she's like, okay, here's all the gifts I bought you, all the things you like, and I got you some power tools, and I got you some beer and some whiskey, and I spent all the money on you just to show you how much that I love you. He's like, oh, that's pretty good. I feel a little spoiled. And the blonde, well, he gave her the money, and she took the money and she invested it. So after the two weeks, he says, well, how'd you make out with the $2,000? She says, well, you're going to be so proud of me. And he goes, okay, well, what did you do with money? She goes, well, I took the money and I invested it. And I did some research. It was a little bit high risk, but I feel, pretty confident in myself with money. She goes, I doubled the money. So I took the original $2,000 out so I could give it back to you, and the other $2,000 is still in the investment. You think, wow, that's impressive. Like, not only did you take the money and invest it, but you doubled the money and gave me my original investment back. So he ponders his decision for a couple days on which one he's going to marry and how they went about spending his money. And in the end, he married the one with the biggest boobs. Beer and a joke.